It's time for the insane, the honest, and the profane with your hosts, Brandon Combs.
Jed Hoyer has been a coward as a GM. He doesn't go out and he doesn't make the big splash signings. He doesn't spend the money in the right places. But then I don't let Craig Counsell off the hook because, yes, did he get put in a bad spot with this rotation by Jed Hoyer? Absolutely. But then you didn't put those guys that you did have in a position to succeed in the playoffs.
And Ryan Fitzgibbons.
I mean, if he's just as good as Justin Fields, it's probably the worst draft pick in the history of Bears football. It probably is. And one of the worst draft picks in the history of the NFL.
It's Combs and Fitz, Windy City Sports Talk, right here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
And welcome to Combs and Fitz, Windy City Sports Talk. It's your boy, Brandon Combs, along with my guy, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who thinks that defenses don't win Super Bowls anymore.
Here we go.
Ryan Fitzgibbons.
See, I've had a couple of problems this week. First of all, simulcasting the game.
Yeah.
I sat weird on the couch and my back hurt for a couple of days. Just want you to know that I'm okay, though. I know you were worried about me. I know you were worried about me, but I'm okay. Two, I feel like I'm getting trolled on Facebook by this douchebag. I just want you to know he's a Texans fan. And he said,
his name.
I'm not going to tell you his name yet. You can guess. If people don't think that the Houston Texans are going to be a problem in the playoffs, they're crazy. That defense is a problem. As much as I'd love to see a rematch of Super Bowl 20, I think Houston is winning the AFC.
I don't think that whoever that guy is a genius. I don't think he's I think he's actually really, really smart. And I think he's
23
what we call a KOB, a knower of ball.
This 23 hours ago. And I there's not a lot I disagree with that other than them winning the AFC. I mean, can they? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
mean, you did proceed to say that at that point you go with the better quarterback when then that person just kindly remind you and wasn't really trolling that last year's
trolling a little
was
bit.
Not won by the better quarterback.
He mentions in here that I don't watch games.
Well, I just said
he mentioned it.
Watched a few games. I mean, he mentioned, not I. He mentioned you should watch a few games because. You know,
I said, doesn't it make more sense that Buffalo would make it? No more.
Did you see what Houston did to Buffalo?
Allen could be the equalizer. And I'm not talking about Denzel Washington. Very fine actor. Very good movies, too. Equalizer, if you ever have some time on
Are you good?
I just wanted to say mine.
About movies. We're a sports podcast. Now you're talking about movies.
I think I represented this troll's point fairly, and I wanted to show my counterpoint.
So a month ago, we saw the Houston Texans take on the Buffalo Bills. And in that game, Josh Allen did not throw for any touchdowns, and he threw for 2 interceptions, and he was pressured on 76% of his dropbacks. Jesus. So we've seen what this defense can do to that Buffalo Bills offense and the havoc that they can create. And when you look at this AFC playoff picture, I don't think there's a team that this Texans team can't create havoc on and just create chaos. I think that this Texans team is a team that is built to win on the road and at home. I just do, because they can get to your quarterback. They can force him into mistakes, as they did with a guy who's really one of the top 3 in the NFL in Josh Allen. So I that's why I do think that the Houston Texans are going to the Super Bowl. And a lot of people gave me flack for this because I'm a Bears fan, and even Bears fans don't want to hear it yet because they don't want to believe yet, or they just don't want to jinx it yet. I think the Bears are going to the Super Bowl, man. I really do. I think this Bears team can win the NFC.
Wait, under your logic with the Texans, why aren't you applying that to the Seattle Seahawks, who you saw, really just confusing Brock Purdy pretty much all game. Brock Purdy throws another interception. I just feel like his ball is just conducive to interceptions. Well,
but I mean,
anyway,
Brock Purdy, yeah, it's easy to confuse Brock Purdy. He throws a lot of interceptions.
Yeah, he does. He does, and should have thrown 2 against the Bears, and the Bears should have won that game last week. But we could talk a little bit about that game. But why don't you put the same logic with the Seattle Seahawks?
Because Sam Darnold's their quarterback.
And
I mean, that's the truth.
After a great first year, CJ Stroud hasn't been, what he was in his rookie season.
But I trust that CJ Stroud can get it done more than I trust that Sam Darnold can get it done in January. And here's the reason why: I've seen CJ Stroud win playoff games.
Yeah,
I've never seen Sam Darnold win playoff games.
Played pretty well against the Chiefs last year. I think the Texans should have won that game. I still don't. A couple of calls go a different way, and I think the Texans win that game against the Chiefs last year, and the Chiefs don't even get out of the first round. But
yeah. No, I completely agree with you. And that's why that's why I don't apply the same logic to the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I will say this, the Seahawks are going to be the home team throughout the playoffs until they lose. If
it's a good home crowd.
You've got to go to Seattle. That's a tough place to play, man.
Yeah.
It's a really tough place to play. But the Bears are really good at taking the ball away. And if the Bears have to go to Seattle, I think you can have – it's going to come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes. And crazy as this might sound to some people, I trust that Bears offense to make less mistakes, and I trust the Seattle offense to make less mistakes. So
I actually agree with that. If you just look at Sam Darnold's numbers, had a beginning almost like a Daniel Jones year without getting hurt. Couple things I want to say about that, it's throwing a lot of picks now. Sam Darnold, and he has thrown a lot more picks. Does not, he's been known to fumble the ball too. Famously in that playoff game.
Charbonnet and Walker, their running backs fumbled the ball quite a bit too.
Yeah, and they have. And I've watched a lot of Seahawks games this year, but that defense is really good. I just think there's a lot of holes in the Bears defense. I will agree with you. I do trust Caleb Williams a lot more than I would Sam Darnold in a lot of different situations. Sam Darnold does do a lot of things right. I also want to say, where are the Vikings if they kept Sam Darnold? I never thought that was a good choice. I never thought JJ McCarthy was going to be good. I know we're kind of getting off subject here, but
no, we're not getting off subject at all. It's week 18, baby.
Why in the hell would you not? I mean, they seem to pull the trigger on Sam Darnold, I think, a little too quickly. I know. Oh, yeah, he wasn't good in one playoff game. And down the stretch last year, he wasn't that good. Hasn't been exactly great down the stretch this year either. But still, I mean, there's not a big sample size there.
I understood at the end of last, because we talked about at the end of last year, right, with Sam Darnold, because
I said it's because he has red hair.
The last 2 regular season games. And then the playoff game, he did not look particularly great. And at the time, I had no problem with them moving on, especially since you drafted JJ McCarthy, and he was obviously going to at some point be the one to take over, and you didn't know how long you were going to sit. I understood what they were doing. Now, was it a good call? Well, no, because you look at what Sam Darnold is now in Seattle, and God, what a detriment to. I mean, how bad is the Jets and Panthers organization that they had this quarterback and he looked like he did with them, and now what he's doing with these 2 teams with better coaches, boy, they better get their stuff together relatively soon. But I think that had they kept Sam Darnold, I think that the Vikings are probably in the conversation with the Bears of the NFC North title. I really do. I think that he makes that big of a difference, especially compared to what not only, I mean, obviously he was hurt for a little while with JJ McCarthy, but I just think Sam Darnold produces better numbers, especially with a wide receiver core that was ready, a running back that was ready, an offensive line that was ready, a defense that was ready. I mean, they had so many things put together. Now all of a sudden you look at the Vikings, you're like, man, they're just a quarterback away.
Yeah.
But they had that quarterback, and it would have been a different story, I think, for the NFC North, but they let him go, and now he's the number 1 seed. He didn't quite hit his $2 million in incentives that he could have got yesterday if he had thrown for, I think it was 3 touchdowns yesterday. He would have got $2 million, in
Doesn't
incentives.
matter.
I think it does to these guys. I mean, it's $2 million.
He's probably punched his ticket to play another 10 years in this league. Whether you think he's going to be a starter in 10 years or not, he's playing another decade in this league.
So you don't think player incentives matter? Because there are a lot of player incentives for today.
I think they matter for the team if your player is better, but a 14-3 season, I think he's successful in this season. I think he's, like I said, I think there were still doubts for Sam Darnold. He had one good season coming in. Now it was one good season. He finally got the right coach. He wasn't in Carolina or New York, or the Jets where he started his career. He didn't have, but he has one good year, and there's still some doubts. I mean, there's still going to be doubts on Caleb Williams next year. I don't think they'll be very founded because I think he's had 2 good years, and I think this year you can almost definitely say is a great year for Caleb Williams.
Well, I think it matters for players though whenever you tell a player they can make a couple of $1 million.
Oh yeah, I mean obviously it's going to matter, but I think it matters more that he's 14-3. He's been more than good enough to be one of the reasons why they're 14-3.
Yeah.
He's going to the playoffs. This is probably going to be a playoff team, you would think.
And he's a free agent.
Catastrophic injuries.
He's a free agent because they only signed him to a 1-year deal. Seattle did.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be able to go to a lot of teams if he wants to. I bet he just stays in Seattle. I don't know. Seattle's not going to get a high pick in the draft. What are they going to do here? Who else?
I don't know why Seattle wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know what? They don't want to make the same mistake that the Vikings just made that we just talked about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just think there's a lot of, I think it's been a rousing success for him. The $2 million, who cares? He's going to make like $300 million over the next 10 years, probably more. Like it's
still $2 million more dollars. I mean,
I agree.
I look at a lot of, especially going into week 18, I look at a lot of these player incentives, right? Like Tony Pollard today needs 66 rushing yards to activate a $250,000 bonus. And yes, $250,000 to guys like you and me, ton of money. $250,000 to a guy playing in the NFL, maybe not so much money, but it's still an extra $250,000.
Yeah, no, it is.
And these guys would love to hit that.
And these guys are paying managers. They pay crazy taxes. Like it's not, all that money isn't going to them.
Deebo Samuel too. Deebo Samuel's an interesting one because he has only hit 90 yards receiving once this season. They go up against the Eagles today, who are resting all of their starters, apparently, even though they need to win to get to the 2 seed and need a Bears loss and all this other stuff. But they're going to rest their starters, they said. Samuel needs 93 more receiving yards to get an extra $200,000. That's an interesting one. And that's one that you start looking at the player props when the betting wise goes and you start, man, what are my odds for him to get 90 plus yards receiving? Because now not only am I putting my money on the line, but I'm putting my money on the line with a guy who has something to play for. And he wants to hit that just as much as you want him to hit that. So when you start looking at it from a betting perspective, it's like, okay,
that's interesting.
These are some things in week 18 that you can go to.
Obviously. Yeah. Because I'm not a degenerate gambler like you.
But Khalil Shakir, $150,000 for 5. So he needs 1 receiving touchdown today against the Jets to get an extra $150,000. Khalil Shakir, not a guy who gets paid a ton of money in the league. There's another one that go look at what Khalil Shakir's anytime touchdown prop is, because
bonuses
they're going to try to get it to him, especially when their teammates know.
Yeah, and there's bonuses that been in players' contracts forever. I mean, Charlie Comiskey famously took guys out of games so they wouldn't have enough innings to get their bonuses. The Charlie Comiskey that used to own the White Sox.
And even if it's not Josh Allen under center, and even if it is Mitch Trubisky under center, now it's even more of a reason to play the Khalil Shakir touchdown prop, because you feel like the backup is going to feel more pressure to get one of their starting wide receivers his bonus, right? And then not only that, but there's probably something in it for him. Hey, you get me an extra $150,000, maybe I'll throw $25,000 your way. You know what I mean? Like, so there's things that go into this. So when you go today to the betting markets, if you're a better like I am, when you look at these games, especially in week 18, some of these are hard to bet on, right? Because you don't know how long starters are going to play. You don't know how long, this guy or that guy is going to play, whether or not a team's going to start pulling people because they don't think, another team might be losing and they don't need to, you know what I mean? So there's all sorts of things that could go into this. But those are the props that you start looking at in week 18 when it comes to the betting lines. Look at guys with player incentives. Calais Campbell needs a sack to hit $1 million. I would definitely bet the Calais Campbell prop. You got Calais Campbell with $1 million on the line just to get one sack. I mean, yeah, I'm going to play Calais Campbell. Same thing with Von Miller. Von Miller needs one sack. He's going up against the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. Von Miller's getting a sack. Von Miller's not, or I'm sorry, not Myles Garrett with the sack record online. Myles Garrett might get 4 today with that Bengals offensive line. So those are things that you want to look at.
A beast.
Absolutely.
A motivated Myles Garrett scares the crap out of me. But just looking at Sam Darnold's numbers, and this just occurred to me he has 25 touchdowns, 14 picks.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, 25 touchdowns, 6 picks. Now, Sam Darnold has 10 more percentage points on his completion percentage. Does completion percentage matter that much when you got 8 more picks?
Adjusted completion percentage to me is what matters more than completion percentage.
Well, yeah, when you coming down, Caleb Williams throws the ball away a lot, and a lot of that is they've had a lot of busted plays. This is a new offense. I think a lot of that's going to be cleared up where you're going to get 6, 7, 8% more on his completion percentage. But just from a decision making, I'd rather have a guy who's at 57% who has 25 and 6 than a guy who's 25 and 14. Was my point. I did not know Sam Darnold had that many picks.
So Sam Darnold's adjusted completion percentage, and I've talked about Caleb Williams' adjusted completion percentage being between 72 and 74%, which is what it's at. Sam Darnold's is 76%.
Yeah, there you go.
So
it doesn't surprise me with a guy who has that many picks that it's not that high.
And a guy who's more prone to make a few more mistakes. And that's why I think that when you start looking at the Bears and you start looking at the playoffs, and look, there's a lot of chaos, and I want to get into that chaos here as well, because a lot of things
think on that last play that Caleb Williams' habit to not throw picks did not serve him in that last play against San Francisco? Because that's what I think. The ball was dirted when it should have been high. You don't throw the ball high there if it's not the last play of the game.
Yeah.
But you do throw it high there if it is the last play of the game. And I feel like, I know he's under duress and he's running around and maybe he doesn't think of it. I'm just saying your habit takes over in those instances, and maybe you throw the ball too low there because it's a little higher. It's probably a touchdown.
It's another one of those cases too where I talked about
last play of the 49ers.
If you remember, I talked about before that play. Roll it out to the right. Because when he's rolling out to the left, man, it's just it's an awkward throw for a right-handed thrower to have your front foot and your throwing arm out ahead of you. You want them behind you. You want to be able to get something into it. Even as you're running, you can at least plant and still get a little bit more off on the throw. They keep running them off to the left. And I get that sometimes you're on the right hash mark and that plays into a lot of the account. But, man, you've got to put your quarterback in a situation. And I think Ben Johnson did a good job of explaining that after the game, that it took him way too long to get the play call in. They were trying to rush. And then Caleb did a good job of not throwing Ben Johnson under the bus, talking about, we didn't get things in the way we wanted to. We didn't do this. We didn't.
And San Francisco,
accountability for it.
Kyle Shanahan said he was going to call a timeout. This is the last play of that game. Kyle Shanahan said he was going to call a timeout. Didn't call a timeout. And because he saw that the Bears were rushing, and he thought, okay, yeah.
And I mean, look, that's just good coaching. I mean, when you see that team, it frustrates me a lot sometimes when you see a defense that is like running around and then the offensive team calls a timeout, and it's like they didn't know what they were going to be doing. Why didn't you just run the damn play and take advantage of that? It drives me nuts when you see that, but that's a good job by Kyle Shanahan. Look, that was a phenomenal game between two really good football teams, and that is what put me over the edge with the Bears being able to make a deep run in the NFC playoffs, and that's why I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. The way that they manhandled the Eagles and the way that they were able to keep pace with San Francisco in San Francisco in a game that we didn't even talk about this last week because we were in the moment, but the only game in NFL history that was tied at 7, 14, 21, 28, and 35. Like, I mean, it was just an incredible game, and the Bears still had an opportunity to win it at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's I don't want to go back to ref calls a lot, but it's a shame that that's not a pick. Just a terrible throw by Purdy, and that's not a pick. Great play by CJ Gardner-Johnson. I just don't see why that's an illegal hands in the face there. That's just a bad call, but and did cost them the game. But yeah, I agree with you. Go rolling out to the right's probably better there. And then the awkward passes maybe going against his body, which Caleb can do if he needs to, and get more end zone on the left side of the end zone if he absolutely needs to at the end of that play. Instead of going to the right of his body, he's not going to go to the right of the hash mark, come back to the right of the hash mark when he's going to the left. He might go over his body if he has to on the last play of a game. There's just nothing else he could do there. And people are saying Colson Loveland. I just don't think that's a play that's going to happen there, especially with all the chaos that's going to happen. Colson Loveland was open in the back of the end zone. He kind of was. I just don't think that was a viable choice.
Yeah, look, there's been a couple of games this year where I've tweeted out, and it's not just about the Bears either. Like the officiating in the NFL as a whole, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's just atrocious. It's at an all-time bad level. I mean, yesterday in that Panthers-Tampa Bay game, I mean, the Panthers had a crucial drive in the opening drive of the second half. And you get a call that goes against the Panthers. I mean, and it's just bad. It was just a bad offensive pass interference. They're within 2 yards. They're hand fighting. They make contact within 2 yards, which you're allowed to do, and you get called for offensive pass interference. It was just a bad call, and they called him out on the broadcast for it too. Dan Orlovsky, which I'm shocked that I'm agreeing with some Dan Orlovsky takes. I think he's an idiot, but Dan Orlovsky calls out the officiating in that game too. And I mean, you can't. You're deciding as an official. You are putting your flag and your opinion in the way of a team's opportunity to win a division. I mean, that was a crucial drive to open up that second half. They were only down 6. They did a great job to only be down 6 at the half. They were driving, and all of a sudden, that play that they take back, I mean, that put them into plus territory. They're all of a sudden they're in Tampa Bay's territory, and they're driving. They put 7 points on the board there. It's a completely different ball game, but they don't. And then, yeah, like Jeremiah Murray says, a Bucs player rips off a Panthers helmet. They missed that one. They missed another one that was a blatant holding call. I mean, just so many things that they miss, and it's like it's hard for the NFL, especially nowadays, man, with all the stuff going on in the NBA, especially with legalized gambling now, to have stuff like this going on. The NFL has got to get a handle on this quick. They've just got to, just for perception purposes.
You gotta pay. You gotta pay him more. You gotta pay him more and make it a more prestigious job.
What the perception is either A, you either have the most incompetent referees in the world working your sport, which one, that's a problem and you should probably fix that. Or two, you've got guys who've got money on the game officiating your sport. Because it's the only way that these two things can happen. That's the only way that these bad calls and these mistakes are happening. They're either incompetent and just terrible at their job, or they're betting, or I guess the third option would be both.
Who is investigating that anymore?
Nobody.
I mean, I don't think ESPN is investigating that. Brought to you by DraftKings. I don't think Fox Sports is investigating that. Brought to you by MGM.
Until it comes out, it's going to be like the NBA. They're going to try to hide it just like the NBA did until something happens and it comes out and the FBI has to get involved.
And honestly, who broke a lot of those stories with the NBA? I know that there was the FBI got involved, but who broke a lot of the stories in the background were podcasters. Podcasters are having to break this stuff because there is no investigative journalism anywhere really anymore, but there's definitely not any in sports. Everyone's in collusion with each other. And it's very hard to watch these games and not to think, looking up what they're making a year, $250,000. That's not a lot of money when you can make 50 to 100 grand on one call that's blown.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, you look at some of the stuff.
Pablo is up in everyone's business. We talked about him. I forget his
Pablo Torre.
Yeah, who we talked about him when we talked about the basketball. That's where we got a lot of our information on that when we were talking about the basketball. I guess you could call point shaving. Well, not really point shaving,
Yeah, but if the NFL wants to get out in front of this and wants to get away from that perception, they've got to do something. I mean, regardless of whether or not you make them full time, you've got to have some. And we've talked about this in baseball. There's got to be some sort of disciplinary for being this bad. If you're not gambling, then fine. Then the only other option is you're just really bad at your job, and there needs to be some punitive action for that. And it can't just be an apology from the league, sending an apology to the Panthers. Hey, we missed this call, and then the Panthers are sitting at home next week when they could have been division champions. Like an apology letter from the league does not suffice the fact that you have incompetent officiating. That it just doesn't do that. So there, like I said, and I'll keep saying it, it's either gambling or just poor officiating and guys who are really bad at their job. I've said for a long time, and I've been a big proponent of this. I used to do this when I was on Man Hour, is look at the numbers. Where do the numbers lead you when a big call happens? Where are the numbers lie in Vegas? Who stands to make the most money? Is it Vegas or is it the public? And 9 times out of 10, you're going to find that these bad calls lean the side of Vegas. And that's another bad look at the NFL.
I do not have to look at the numbers of a 49ers Bears game at the end of a season where the Bears are going to the playoffs to tell you where those numbers were going. Definitely more people were betting on the Bears, and the Bears were 3.5 point underdogs, and they lost by 4 points.
Yep.
And they did not get the better calls in that game.
Correct. Yep.
On Saturday night, they did not get the better calls.
I mean, you had the touchdown taken away, which was a horrendous call in itself. You had the interception taken away, another horrendous call in itself. Like you get all these points taken off the Bears, and they lose by 4 points. I mean, it's just a bad look. The NFL has got to do something about it.
Yeah, no, they do. They do. Wait, well, let's get to the chaos of what could happen in the playoffs, especially the NFC playoffs. We could talk AFC too. I want to know, where are your foil hats?
It's not about foil hats, Doubting Thomas. I mean, look at it. Especially if you're a gambler, you have to be looking at some of this stuff because, I mean, your money's on the line. Your money's out there. Your money's on these bets, and these calls are affecting it. I mean, it's crazy. And yes, that's part of it. I understand that, but I mean, it's the calls that shouldn't be called that I have a problem with. It's the calls that aren't actually penalties. It's the calls that they get called out for by the broadcast team that I have the problem with. And even though Fitz is trying to bring us back on track, let's get to it. Let's get to the chaos that could be what happens today, right? So the first one is obviously the biggest one everybody knows is the Saints and Falcons. The Saints and Falcons are going to decide the NFC South today, even though neither team can win the NFC South.
It's so weird.
It's so crazy. So if the Falcons win, the Panthers win the NFC South. If the Saints win, the Buccaneers win the NFC South. If the Saints and Falcons tie, the Buccaneers win the NFC South. So if the Falcons win, it would create a 3-way tie in the NFC South at 8 and 9. But the Panthers and Bucks split. The Bucks and Falcons split. But the Panthers swept the Bucks, so the Panthers would get the 3-way tiebreak. But they don't have any other tiebreak.
Swept the Falcons.
Correct.
Yeah.
So That's one of them. Then the other one is for the number 1 seed in the AFC. If somehow the Chargers, who are sitting everybody, as a matter of fact, I think they're even sitting their cheerleaders today. They're sitting everybody against Denver, but if they find a way to beat Denver in Denver with all of their backups and Denver playing their starters, and the Patriots win, then the Patriots get the 1 seed. Now the Jaguars, if you want to get your tinfoil hats on, are the most interesting one of the day. Because the Jaguars can be either the 1 seed, the 2 seed, the 3 seed, the 5 seed, the 6 seed, or the 7 seed today. The Jaguars, if the Broncos and the Patriots both lose, the Jaguars win. The Jaguars are the 1 seed.
Unbelievable.
The Jaguars, if the Broncos and the Patriots win, are the 3 seed. The Jaguars, if the Broncos lose or the Patriots lose and one or the other wins, then the Jaguars would be the 2 seed. But if the Jaguars lose and the Texans win the AFC South, and now the Jaguars will either be the 5, 6, or 7 seed, depending on what the Buffalo Bills and the Los Angeles Chargers do. They could find themselves all the way down to the 7 seed. They can be any seed except for the 4 seed, because that's going to be locked into the AFC North champ, who will be the worst division leader of all of them, which brings us to the AFC North, which is just on the line tonight. Winner wins it. Steelers, Ravens. Winner wins, loser goes home. NFC is a little bit less complicated.
And no one cares.
NFC is a little less complicated. The Bears win. They're the 2 seed. If they lose and the Eagles win, then the Eagles are the 2 seed. The Bears would be the 3. If both lose, they remain the same, 2 and 3.
Who do you want?
What?
Sorry to cut you off. You finish your train. Finish your train. Go.
If you're the wild card is already set at the 7 seed is going to be the Packers.
Yeah.
If the Rams win today, the Rams will be the 5 seed, and the Niners will be the 6 seed. If the Rams lose today, the Niners remain the 5, the Rams remain the 6. So no matter what, if the Bears win, they're going to play the Packers. If the Bears lose and the Eagles win, they could play either the Rams or the 49ers. They'll play one of the West Coast teams here in Chicago, which I think that benefits the Bears. I really do. I think playing one of those teams, those warm weather teams who one plays indoors, one plays. Can we get some Benny Hill music while you explain
that? Would have been a good idea.
It's crazy.
It's good you went through all that just on memory. Yeah. Like, that's actually kind of impressive, Combsy.
I mean,
but you still haven't answered the question. You still haven't answered the question.
What's the question?
Who do you want the Bears to play? Who do you want the Bears to play?
The Packers.
Yeah, me too.
I look if you remember, for those of us that are Cubs fans, 2015, when the Cubs were a year ahead of schedule, and they go into the playoffs and they play the Cardinals in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
That was the most exciting playoff series that we have ever seen, because it was the Cardinals and because the Cubs win and they beat the Cardinals, who are a storied franchise, who have been a better franchise than the Cubs for a better part of their existence. The elation of beating your rival, your hated rival at that, was there. Same thing with last year with the Cubs and Brewers. I mean, if the Cubs would have beat the Brewers, that would have been unreal for Cubs fans, right? Because you're beating your rival who you can't stand, who you hate, and it was the same thing for the Brewers.
We should talk about the Cubs for a little bit, but keep.
No,
going.
We shouldn't. We're not talking about the Cubs.
Okay.
So I want the Packers because, man, if the Bears do make that run that I expect them to make and get to the Super Bowl, to beat the damn Packers, to have a chance to do that would be amazing. And it's something that, Packers fans have held over Bears. I mean, it's the only reason why Aaron Rodgers has a Super Bowl. So, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I really think you make a lot of sense. I really think this is something like the Bulls and Pistons. I mean, you can go to other sports, and you did with the Cubs, but the Bulls, Pistons, all those championships behind me, the 6 championships, they had to get over that hump too. I think you have to get over the Packer hump. I still actually think, even though they only won one of those games on the last play of the game, you made us talk about the Sox for 2 years. You're talking about the Cubs
next week.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Anyway, yeah, you have to get past that hump. I do think, even though the Bears needed the last play of the game both times to beat them, didn't play 3 quarters, you could say they were dominated in 3 quarters. I just don't think they played well. I think those 2 Packers games were the worst play calling games Ben Johnson has had, including that goal line play. To me, that still baffles my mind. It's kind of like the flea flicker in the Carolina Bucks game yesterday. If you saw that flea flicker, that was inexplicable. Did lose Carolina the game. But anyway, going back to it, I think the Bears, if they play a good 3 quarters of ball against that team, I really think, and I think they're going to do it in the playoffs. I just think playoff ball is much different. Yeah. I think they beat the Packers handedly. I think they beat the Packers handedly. I do think if they play San Fran, I think the only team I'm scared of is that Rams team. And it's because of that quarterback. And I think the Rams have a better defense than the Bears. A lot of teams do. But I think the Rams have a better defense than the Bears. And I really like that quarterback. I really like Matthew Stafford. I think he's the best quarterback in the league this year. I don't care what he did last week. I don't think that's how he's going to be in the playoffs. And I think that's a scary matchup, even at home.
Yeah, no, I think that when it comes to the play, I think there's something you could pick about each team that might scare you. For me, I think, except for the Packers are the only team where I look at it, I'm like, okay, cool. Panthers too. I mean, or the Buccaneers, whichever team wins the NFC South. It's like, okay, great. I mean, Tampa, maybe you could say, you're worried about whether or not Baker can have one of those Baker-esque type games. But when you look at the Rams, you could talk about their offense and their defense. I mean, they are probably the most complete team on both sides of the ball out of all of them. You look at the 49ers, what would scare me is that in a cold weather game in Chicago with the wind blowing, they're going to lean a lot on Christian McCaffrey. And anytime they're leaning a lot on Christian McCaffrey, it's scary because he can absolutely beat the shit out of you by himself. And then you look at the Eagles, they're defending champs. They know how to win. They know how to win in January, and they've shown that. And then when you're looking at the Seahawks, it's obviously their defense. Their defense can shut you down. So I think there's something to worry about in all of them, but I'm not saying that I would pick against the Bears in any of them.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles are a different team than they were when the Bears played them that Friday. I just think they're a better team. I think the Eagles have a lot of years like that. We're sort of at the back half of their season for a little bit, maybe the beginning of the third, fourth quarter of the season. They play a little bit. They did the same thing last year, and a lot of people doubted the Eagles last year. And then all of a sudden, they started playing well. Saquon Barkley's playing better. That defensive line is still very talented. With the Eagles, I think it'd be hard to sweep them in a season for 2 games. I think that's a very hard team to sweep. I would still rather play them than the Rams. I just think there's just more. I mean, I just think Stafford puts 4 touchdowns on you. Stafford could put 2 or 3 touchdowns on you in that first half and quiet that crowd down. Now your home field advantage doesn't mean anything, and now you're scrambling again in a second half. What I want to see, no matter what, is them to get out to a good couple of quarters, no matter who they play in a playoff game. And they got to do that by running the ball, because their defense is porous and they can't sack the quarterback. I mean, I'm not even gonna say pressure the quarterback. They can't even sack the quarterback. I guess pressuring more is more succinct, because a guy has like 7, 8, 9 seconds. Brock Purdy had more time in that game than he's only had one more time in his career that he had more time in a game than he did in that game. That's why they scored 42 points. Yeah. I mean, it's insane how they. And that's why I think
it might be a better question of who do you want the Bears to face in the second round, right? Because if the Rams win today, they're the 5 seed, and now all of a sudden, unless you get all chalk, the Bears would play the Rams in the second round, unless you think that the Eagles are beating whoever they're playing in the first round. Then the Bears would get the Eagles because the number 1 seed gets the worst out of the 5. But I mean, it could be interesting. Could be extremely interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think, yeah, it's just, I just think, especially the only way you'd be able to beat the Rams is to run the ball a lot. And I haven't seen that with Ben Johnson. I don't know what he thinks is wrong, or maybe it's just matchups that he's seeing that I'm not seeing. But the running backs for the Bears, 17 rushes again in that San Francisco game. Now, I'm not saying that the offense did bad. They obviously put up 38 points, almost put up 45 or 44. They're not kicking the extra point in that game. But I mean, I think you're going to have to run the ball and keep Stafford off the field. You're going to have to run the ball and keep even Jordan Love off the field.
Rams or Niners, who has a better chance of upsetting the Eagles and then upsetting the Seahawks? Is it the Rams?
I have to go with the Rams. I think they're pretty much somewhat even teams. And I think the quarterback is definitely better with the Rams.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
He wins the MVP. Stafford wins the MVP.
Means we want the Rams to lose today. That's the way that happens. Otherwise, it's almost a given that the Bears would play the Rams in round 2.
Yeah, Jeremiah says you don't get pressure on Stafford. The only other way, because they're not going to get pressure on him. Let's just say they're not going to get pressure on him, because they probably won't unless it's freezing outside. The only way is he has the ball for 23 minutes, 24 minutes. Their offense has the ball for 23, 24 minutes. Bears have the ball for 36, 37 minutes. That's how the Bears win. I just don't think they're going to get pressure on these quarterbacks. And to do that, they're going to have to run the hell out of the ball. I don't know what happened where we're starting every game off with 6 or 7 passes. I just don't. It hasn't been good. And it set them behind the 8 ball in many games.
Yeah. I mean, you look at last week against the 49ers. I mean, they get that pick 6, but then after the pick 6, the Niners come back down and score. And then the Bears went 3 and out, I believe. And then the Bears defense stops the Niners. And then I think that was the last stop of the game, because I think every team scored a touchdown on every offensive possession that they had after that, until the Bears did not score on the final drive. But look, I think that this Bears team can compete with anybody. And I trust Ben Johnson. I trust this Bears offense. I trust this Bears quarterback, who, let's talk about this now. Week 18, 270 yards away from 4,000. How bad does Caleb want it? Because you already know that he wants it. It's on his list of things that he wants to accomplish. How bad does Ben Johnson want it, especially against the Lions? And to do this, I think that they air the ball out quite a bit in the first half and see where they're at from there. Before they decide on what they're doing with the
entire. I just don't think. I don't know if it's a blowout, but I think it's so out of hand that I don't even know if Caleb plays the whole third quarter. That's my problem in this game, or plays a little bit into the fourth quarter, if that.
But do you think that let's say Caleb in the third quarter let's say he's got 230 passing yards. Do you think that Ben Johnson and Caleb care enough about getting to 4,000 that Caleb finishes out the game?
I don't think. I think those guys are have one focus. Not sure why I can't say that word, but they have
singularly
focused. I think they are. And I think I just think in this game, even if it's like you said, 40, 50 yards away, I think he's sitting down. I just think there's just too much of a chance for injury. He gets injured, this is over. I mean, even in that San Francisco game where he wasn't sacked, he was pressured a lot, and he got out of a lot of pressures. Tyson Bagent is not getting out of those pressures. He gets hurt. That's it. This is over. I just think he was really. And I agree with Jeremiah. I think he said it after that Packer game. I think his game has just gone to another level. I think a lot with the touch passes and the long passes in that San Francisco game, and that's been on for a little while now. I mean, there was a pass to Colston Loveland that was unbelievable. That wasn't really a touch pass, but over his shoulder. Yeah. I mean, just I don't think it matters.
I agree with Jeremiah. He says they're getting him to 4K. It's a goal for them, and Ben even admitted it. I agree. I think that they're airing it out. I really do. And I think that it matters to Ben that the Lions hung 50 up on him in week 2. And I think he wants to.
Oh, I'm sure it does. He's a super competitive guy.
I think he wants to return the favor, and I think that the offense, I mean, look, there's always a risk of injury. I understand that. I get that. And if for some reason, knock on wood, Caleb were to get injured in the fourth quarter of today's game and the game's already, Bears with a 2-touchdown lead or something, fans will go crazy, especially when you have a young team. I'm never a fan of sitting them, whether it's for a game, for a half, whatever the case is. I let them play it out. And if I have a guy like a Patrick Mahomes who's won 6 Super Bowls and we've won a bunch of divisions in a row, then yes, you're sitting your starters week 18, you're getting them some rest. But it's the same reason why you play your young players as much as you can in the preseason, is because you want them to get them reps. You want them to get that. And the Bears have never been, this Bears team, I should say, has never been in this position in where they're going to the playoffs, in which they're playing for seeding. This stuff means something, and it's got to mean something. You've got to teach them that it means something. And then as they grow in this game, as they, get some experience, as they become veterans in this game, then sure, yes, then it's okay. Once you've established the fact that you can win and keep winning and do all that, then sure, if you want to sit your starters in week 18, you go ahead and you do it. I think they play it out. There's no
juggernaut in this NFC, meaning, you could be there is a way where you could be in a championship game at Soldier Field if you're 2 seed, and maybe not be if you're 3 seed. There's a scenario where that happens, where Seattle doesn't make it to the championship game. That could happen.
Yeah.
I think they're a good team. I think they got a good chance at it, but can we get to something else?
I mean, there's really a scenario where you don't get it, and this would be a crazy one, but I've said this before. I think this could happen. I think there's a scenario where you don't have an NFC West in the NFC title game. Carolina has already beaten LA in Carolina. They've already beaten the Rams in Carolina. They've already beaten San Francisco. They didn't beat Seattle, but they beaten the other 2 teams. They also, the Eagles beating whatever West team that they have in week 1 in Philly in the cold. And then Sam Darnold choking in round 2, which you've seen before.
Yeah.
So I do think that there's a path where you don't have any NFC West teams in the NFC title game. I just don't know if that NFC South, I don't think either team, from what I watched yesterday, is good enough to beat either NFC West team.
No, those are too bad. It was good. I was going to text you.
It's like Thomas's comment.
Good to see 2 teams that are okay, that the Bears are so much better than. You don't want to talk about the CFP real quickly here?
We can talk about it if you want to. Look,
I don't think it the only thing I'll say about it is I don't think it matters what happens in the college football playoffs, whether they got it right or not. I think
because I think Notre Dame would have ran both of those teams.
I don't think Miami particularly shouldn't have been in. I think Alabama shouldn't have been in. That's my take. That's always been my take. They lost 3 games.
Indiana murdered them.
Yeah,
Indiana murdered Bama.
Yeah, and I don't think they should have been in it. They lost 3 games. Let's go to the professionals, like I said back then, who do it all the time. In the NFL, you just wouldn't have been in the playoffs because you lost 3 games. Sorry, I don't care who you played.
My title game is still alive. I have Indiana versus Ole Miss in the title game.
We did this a few years ago. Did you see the name of some of these bowl games?
It's stupid. It's so stupid. You had the Snoop Dogg Bowl this year.
Yeah,
the Snoop Dogg Bowl.
The Snoop Dogg Bowl. The 68 Ventures Bowl. The Bucked Up Bowl, which is a workout drink. Which, yes, it might be. The Cricket Celebration Bowl. Are they talking about cricket, the phone that drug dealers use?
Dude, it's just so. How about the Armed Forces Bowl that didn't have any of the Armed Forces teams in them?
How about the famous Idaho Potato Bowl that did not have an Idaho team in it?
How about the Smoke Bowl?
Yeah.
Oh wait, that was a Snoop Dogg Bowl.
Scooter's
Notre
Coffee
Dame wouldn't
Bowl.
beat Ohio State if they played them. You're out of your ever loving mind. Ohio State was overrated this year, and I said it from the start, which is why I picked the teams that I did, which is why I didn't have Ohio State in the title game, which is why I didn't have Ohio State in the semifinals, because Ohio State didn't play anybody all season long, which is the same reason why I say I'm not a huge believer in the New England Patriots. Because when you play us off schedule and then all of a sudden you have to play real teams, it's kind of a culture shock. Ohio State.
Yeah, and Drake May hasn't had great. Drake May, I don't think he'll win the MVP. I know his numbers are good and all that. I don't think he'll win the MVP. I don't think he's been particularly good against good teams.
Yeah, I think it's Matt Stafford's award. I really do. I think Offensive Player of the Year should be why can't I think of his name now? Falcons running back Bijan Robinson. I mean, the most yards from scrimmage. That dude's been a baller. And look, I know he's playing on a really bad team, but dude, on a really bad team, and he's balling out. He leads the league in all.
I wouldn't call him really bad.
They're a really bad team. They won 3 straight, but they're a really bad team. I mean,
if they played 10 times, come on.
He's out of his.
No, he said that at the end.
He's just. I mean, God. I don't know why we entertain him. But that's why I said get his. I don't even pull up his comments anymore. You pull up his comment.
Wow, that mad. Stafford is plus 240 if you like him.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that bet. Actually, I like that bet. I might even get the app to do that bet and then get addicted to gambling, as Dave Lauren was talking about earlier in the comments.
Here's one that's crazy to me. Coach of the Year. Right now, Coach of the Year, Kyle Shanahan is the favorite. Mike Vrabel is second. Liam Cohen is third. And Mike McDonald is fourth. You could get Ben Johnson at 60-1 to win Coach of the Year. To me, that's crazy.
That is.
To me, that's crazy because Ben Johnson has done the same thing that Mike Vrabel's done this year. Take a last place team, win a division, have a chance at a number 1 seed, probably going to be a 2 seed. Same exact stuff. But the difference is that he changed the culture of the organization.
The Patriots...
and Mike Vrabel went to an organization that already had a winning culture, and that's not Mike Vrabel's fault. And I'm not demeaning the job that Mike Vrabel's done. I think he's done a tremendous job. But they've also played the easiest schedule in all of football. And when you look at what Ben Johnson does, look, I give Liam Cohen a lot of credit too, because Liam Cohen has started to make me believe that.
Yeah, but that Jaguars team won a playoff game 2 years ago. I mean, what are we talking about here?
He's made Trevor Lawrence look really good too, though. I mean, Trevor Lawrence. I mean, since week 10, nobody scored more or has been involved in more touchdown plays than Trevor Lawrence. Like Trevor Lawrence has looked like a competent quarterback under Liam Cohen, so he's done a tremendous job as well, and Mike McDonald as well. I mean, with the Seahawks, but none of them have done the job that Ben Johnson has done. And that's whether I'm a Bears fan or not. I would say this because he's changed the culture of an organization. And to me, that's what sets him above the rest of these guys. I mean, to be that bad, 60-1, 65-1, whatever the hell the number was, that's crazy to me.
I think it's crazy. Yeah. I mean, this is a team that wasn't a over 500 team for more than 1 year in the last 12.
Megan TV, we have two videos last week that have reached over 10,000 views.
You guys better put up them. You don't have.
I don't need Doubting Thomas and his different monikers.
She's got a point. She's got a point. You're just mad because he's got Miami up there. You didn't like Michael Irvin taking his belt off. Tell me Michael Irvin isn't on some.
I'm fine with look. Miami's not my problem.
If you're gonna tell me,
my problem was Notre Dame not being in over JMU and over freaking Tulane.
Whatever they got the former, U.S. President Joe Biden, whatever drugs they gave Joe Biden to make his speeches, they got to be giving Michael Irvin the same thing. I mean, what the hell is going on there? Still a washboard stomach. I mean, the guy still got abs. I mean, how old is Michael Irvin? I mean, we're saying 50s here. He's very motivated.
He's old. I think him taking his belt off, I actually think he thought he was at home and he was just getting ready for bed.
With that many sexual harassment charges against him,
That's what I think.
Doubting Thomas, cocaine is a hell of a drug. I'm gonna put his comments up.
I know you are.
He drives me now. He drives.
You're
The weird part is I yell about him more than you ever do.
I know.
It's this ND thing with you, man. You gotta.
Well, because people know they can push buttons, especially people who aren't fans of Notre Dame know they can push buttons, but it's a stupid argument. Notre Dame had heading into the final bracket, where they finally released a bracket and they're the final rankings of the college football playoff. Notre Dame had the third best odds to win the national championship. They were favored behind Ohio State and they were favored behind Georgia, who both now are out. And Notre Dame didn't even get into the college football playoff. Stop it.
Yeah, I mean, I just think they should have made it over Alabama. I mean, I never said Miami shouldn't have made it. Combs can't help himself.
Fuck you, Doubting Thomas.
You are and always have been penis cancer in human form.
All right, you ready to make our picks for the week?
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't take long.
A lot of these games don't matter.
Jeremiah
so
was saying the early slate.
What's that?
Jeremiah was saying, and he's right, the early slate is pretty bad today.
Yeah, so. It's not good. We'll rifle through them. Let's start with the one that actually does matter. Saints and Falcons. Falcons are a 3.5 point favorite in Atlanta.
I'm going to go with the Saints just because I want my guy in the playoffs.
I'm going Saints too. And
wow.
The Saints have quietly won 5 straight. Did you know that? The Saints have won 5 in a row.
I did not care enough to know 5 in a row. I know that they've been winning games, but I did not care enough to for 5 in a row.
5 in a row for the Saints. I think that they continue. I think Tyler Shuck ends up winning Rookie of the Year, even though I don't believe he should. I believe that should go to Travion Henderson in New England. But I think Tyler Shuck's going to do it because he's a quarterback. Let's go Browns Bengals in Cincinnati. Myles Garrett 1 sack away from the all-time sack record, single season sack record. Bengals are a 9.5 point favorite over the Browns. I'll go first. Give me the Browns. I think the Browns win the game outright.
Me too. I don't know if they win it outright. That's just too many points with the Cincinnati Bengals team.
I agree.
I don't trust that team.
Browns are playing better as of late as well. All right, let's go Packers Vikings, the NFC North. Packers are sitting everybody. They're starting, I think, Joe Tooney or somebody at quarterback, Toon, whatever the hell his name is. Against the Vikings. Vikings are a 12.5 point favorite over the Packers, who are going to the playoffs at home in Minnesota. Where are you leaning here?
I think Minnesota kills them. I think I don't care about the points, anything like that. I think Minnesota wants to go in on a winning note. If they only had Sam Darnold, they're probably in the playoffs. Well, they're for sure in the playoffs this year. So,
yeah, I think they want to go out on a winning note. I just don't know if they can. And I think even the Packers sitting all their offensive guys, I just don't know. I think this has one of those like 10-7 or 10-6 games written all over it. So I'm going to take the Packers and the points. Cowboys, Giants, this game, it means absolutely nothing except for maybe to the Giants, who, if the Raiders win and the Giants lose, the Giants will get the number 1 pick. For that reason and that reason only, give me the Cowboys -3 because the Giants do not want to win this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm taking the Cowboys.
All right, Titans, Jaguars. This game does kind of matter because if the Jaguars win and a bunch of other things happen, they could end up from anywhere from 1 down all the way down to 7 if they lose.
Jeez.
Titans or Jaguars are a 12.5 point favorite. Where are you going?
I think the Jaguars want to win this. I think the Titans are just out of it. I'm going Jaguars even with all those points.
I think the Titans find a way to win this game. I do. I think they want to play spoiler, and I think they want to create havoc. And I think that the Houston Texans end up winning the AFC South, and the Jaguars end up the 7th seed. I think that's the one craziness that actually happens today. Give me the Titans over the Jaguars. Colts, Texans. Texans are a 9.5 point favorite. You know where I'm going. I think the Texans are going to Super Bowl. I think they roll the Colts.
I think they roll the Colts too. I don't know about the Super Bowl prediction. You troll.
Okay. Bills versus Jets. I don't know why this is a 325 game with all the important games, but it is.
I don't either.
Final game in Orchard Park in that stadium. They got the new stadium that they will be playing in next year. Bills are a 12.5 point favorite over the Jets. Jets suck. Give me the Bills.
Yep. Jets do suck. Give me the Bills.
All right. Chargers, Broncos in a game that matters for a lot of different reasons. Denver is a 14 point favorite because the Chargers are sitting everybody. I don't know if I trust the Broncos to win by 14 though. Like I think they win this game. That's a lot of points. But I'm gonna take it. If I have to go one way or the other, I'm taking Denver.
I'm going Chargers. I think it'll be a sloppy game.
Okay.
I think 14 is just too much.
Another game that plays at 325. That means nothing except for the draft picks. Chiefs Raiders. Chiefs are a 4.5 point road favorite with you at quarterback.
Yeah, a little bit. I can lace a few in there. I'm going Chiefs here. I think the Raiders are just bottoming out at this point. 2-15 Raiders. Whew. Raiders imagine where the Bears were at the beginning of the season beating that Raiders team.
Can you imagine being 76-year-old Pete Carroll coming back for this? Yeah, I just don't know how the Raiders find a way, even with how banged up the Chiefs are. Might be Travis Kelce's last game in the NFL, so I think he's going to want to go out with a bang. I think he has a big day. So yeah, I got the Chiefs too. Cardinals, Rams. Rams are a 14.5 point favorite in LA. They need to win to get to the 5 seed. I think they roll the Cardinals. I think they beat them by 100. Give me the Rams minus 14.5.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, I'm pretty high on the Rams too.
Patriots can get the 1 seed if the Broncos slip up. They've got the Dolphins today in New England. They're a 13.5 point favorite. I am on the Dolphins plus 13.5. I think the Patriots win. I don't know that. I think the Dolphins can keep it close enough.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins have played pretty hard in the second half of the season. I agree with that. Go Fins.
Eagles, Commanders. Eagles are a 3 point favorite. Give me Washington in this game straight up. I like Washington to win this game. So I'll take Washington plus 3. Philly is going to be sitting everybody as well. Washington has some things to play for. They got some guys with some contract incentives to play for. I think that Washington goes out playing hard, trying to win this game.
I'm going to agree with you there. Washington.
Okay. And then finally for the AFC North and the 4 seed in the AFC playoffs, we've got the Ravens and Steelers. Where are you going there?
Only people in Baltimore and Pittsburgh care about this game. I don't care. I don't think either of these teams are going anywhere in particular. I'm rooting for the Ravens. I think it's more of a coin flip game. So I'm going to take the Ravens in this one. Just to be against Aaron Rodgers.
It doesn't matter who wins this game. I think both teams lose in the wild card round. But I'm rooting for the Ravens because I will never root for Aaron Rodgers. So give me the Ravens. And then obviously Bears, Lions today, 3:25 at Soldier Field. Does Ben Johnson get his lickbacks? Does Caleb Williams go over 4,000 yards? The Bears are a 4.5 point favorite over the Lions.
I think even though I think the Lions are going to play hard, I think the Bears roll today. I really do. Yeah. They're a very confident team. They want to win this game. They've said it. I really think that there's some guys that are going to be making some business decisions on Detroit, whether they like to say it or not. And I think the Bears win this game going away.
Yeah, I think the Bears roll too. I think Ben Johnson wants to roll the Lions. I think he wants to beat the hell out of them. I think he wants to send a message to the rest of the NFC that, hey, this Bears team, we're going to be tough in the playoffs. And we're going back to the damn Super Bowl, just like Combs said. because I listen to Combs and Fitz and Windy City Sports Talk. That quote came from Ben Johnson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he does. He took his shirt off for us. Baltimore gets in and wins a playoff game. Jeremiah Murray.
No chance. No chance. So you think that they're beating, at this point, it would be the Houston Texans. You think they're beating Houston? You're out of your damn mind. You got Lamar Jackson with a bad back and an offensive line that can't protect him. Houston's going to break him. You might see his upper torso on the right hash while his lower torso is on the left hash. Like, it is not going to be pretty if this Texans defense gets to Baltimore. All right. You ready to get out of here? Go watch some football?
Let's go.
We doing a post game?
Yes.
All right. Bears post game after the game.
Affirmative.
Join us. Affirmative.
Very anticlimactic.
Till next time, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies. Feel it.